career, it was really difficult because I wanted to fit in with the boys and be part of the good old boy system. And the more I did that, the more unhappy I was because I wasn't being true to who I wanted to be. So I think just accepting that you're different and being the best officer that you can be, regardless of male or female, is important. And as far as being a New Bedford police officer, it was fun, you know, patrolling the streets that I grew up in. But it's difficult when you find people that you're locking up that you know, that you went to school with, or that was your neighbor. And so that got a little tricky. Yes?
Have you ever fought anyone at your job?
Yes, people like to fight the police, believe it or not.
You never fight somebody?
Yes. Quite a few times. Usually.
Beat them up?
Excuse me?
Shut up.
Yeah, I've gotten punched in the face, I've gotten, you know, scratched, hit. Most of the time people are trying to run away.
You hit them back?
Yeah. Or I use my spray. Or the boys come and tackle me. Most of the time people are trying to get away from the police. Very rarely do people stop and just want to fight you, unless they're drunk or you're trying to arrest someone and then they come pull you off. But most of the time people are trying to run away. The few times I was in a fight was because either I was arresting someone and they were trying to protect the person I was arrested, or they were just crazy. They were great.
Great.
Yes.
Does it feel weird working with boys?
No, I think I've always been a tomboy. I've always liked sports. I was BMXing when I was like 12 years old down in Sassaquin, and I've always, you know, I was in the military. I was with all guys in the military. I lived with them for a year in Afghanistan, so I think I'm kind of used to being around the boys. Kind of a tomboy. I know I look really girly, but I'm actually really usually like sports and hanging out with guys. Yes, Karen.
What part do you work in?
What part now of the city? I work in Hyde Park, Mattapan, and Rosendale.
Where's that? What is
It's part of Boston. So you know, New York has like Manhattan, Brooklyn, all these areas. Boston has Roxbury, Dorchester, Southie. So it's kind of like that.
What's the difference from working as a police officer here?
Her question was, what's the difference between working in New Bedford and working in Boston as a police officer? I didn't find much of a difference. New Bedford is kind of like a Dorchester or a Roxbury. You have a lot of hardworking people, a lot of good areas, and you have a few bad areas where, you know, there might be a drug problem or a gang problem. And so the transition from New Bedford to Boston wasn't too difficult because I had a little bit of everything in New Bedford, and that's how it is in Boston. The difference is that it's on a much larger scale. So let's say there's like 5 murders a year in New Bedford, there's like 75 murders a year in Boston. And so the frequency in which you deal with some violence and gang stuff and drugs happens a little bit more often. And you deal with a whole lot more people than you do in New Bedford. In New Bedford you can kind of get used to like the neighborhoods and you see the same faces. In Boston, you might never see that person ever again.